everyone, Joe here from ActionX. Welcome to What's in the Tube, ActionX's show where we talk about all things in the world of television, which normally include episode-by-episode reviews of currently airing shows, season-by-season reviews of currently wrapped shows or shows that are still long into the air, or doing these proper season reviews as they go along. Today, we are reviewing Titan Season 3, non-spoiler, so if you have not yet caught the third season of Titan, which is now all available on HBO Max, you can do so right now. But if you want to hear a random person's thoughts on the season after watching the whole thing, well, you've come to the right place. Back in August, we did a Titan Season 3 First Impressions, where we reviewed the first 3 episodes in about 30 minutes to try and pitch to people that we want to do a full episode-by-episode series of reviews like we did with a lot of other shows like Walker and Stargirl and The Rookie. We wanted to do that, but we sadly did not reach the criteria to make it worthwhile to add it to our schedule. But we still wanted to make sure we acknowledge it. Plus, we have reviewed the previous 2 Titan seasons, so we were going to keep... I was going to review this season regardless, and I just watched the finale tonight a little bit later than normal. The finale came out a few weeks ago. I've just been very busy with a lot of other stuff. October was such a busy month for me on What's in the Tube that we had to punt the Titan Season 3 review. Oh, it's now. But regardless to say, with also there being a 4th season on the way, regardless if it comes out by end of next year or 2023, we'll see how that goes. So for me, Titan has been a very interesting journey for me. I've always been fascinated by the idea of a live-action Teen Titans show since I was a kid, watching the original Cartoon Network show back in 2003, up to, sadly, its final season, and now what they're doing with Go and all that sort. And also, I loved Young Justice a lot. I really do. And then with the fact that this show was going to come around, it was going to be interesting, a more grittier, more mature take on the team. Reviewing the first 2 seasons, I was critical on them because as much as I love the costumes, I think the actors are doing the best they can to embody their versions of the characters. Sad to say, a lot of the material didn't work. So when we go to season 3, First Impressions, when we were doing that, I very, very much love what they were doing. And then, so again, before I go any further than that, was Titan Season 3 worth the bit? Is it worth the bit? Is it worth sitting down and watching all 13 episodes in one sitting, or just in general during a weekend? I will be honest to say that Titan Season 3 starts off really, really great, and it begins to lose its luster towards the end for me. I don't believe that I think it's still the best of the 3 seasons so far. We'll see how season 4 does. But I feel like they're on the right track of what they had a very strong start and a very decent middle, but the ending for me kind of felt a little flat. And that you can say that about most superhero shows on the air. Like, it's so hard because in a movie you have 2 hours to tell your story. So it's like, here's the beginning, here's a very exciting rising point, and then here's the big epic final battle. Here, again, I feel like when I was, after the first 3 episodes, I was so hyped. I was in. I wasn't going to do the episode review, sadly, every week, but I was still going to tune in day 1 when a new episode comes out. I was excited. And then as we went along, it kind of started to feel like more of the beginning of the seasons of the last runs. I was like, no, you were doing so well. And this is my personal opinion. Like, everyone else could just love the whole season from start to finish. I sadly did not. I felt like it started off great, and then it just lost the luster, and then it ended in a pretty decent place for where season 4 could start off. And as much as I'm very excited to see where season 4 goes, I think season 3 they definitely know where they're trying to aim for in future seasons, but I still think that they still had some more learning curves to work with in season 3 itself. But as always, as I now go forward at this point, I will not be spoiling anything beyond the first episode. Anything that was relatively available in the trailers and that first episode I will talk about, but anything beyond that, like such as, other characters popping in, what certain things ended up being, I will not speak about it because I'm aware a lot of other people have not yet seen Titan Season 3. But so for me, the overall story, moving Titans to Gotham, was interesting. I thought that they were going to stay in their city and kind of like continue what they were doing. They definitely left a lot of things open from season 2 going to season 3, such as the lack of Deathstroke's daughter being part of the team now. Where does Jericho lie up going to? And I will say this: the pacing, at least for the majority of the season, was so much better than season 1 and 2. Where the first two seasons they crammed so much into each and every episode to kind of keep every storyline going. They have like 10 storylines going on, and this season still feels like the same. There's a lot going on because there's so many different characters with Dick and his relationship with Bruce, and of course obviously the Red Hood stuff, the main Titan Superboy being part of the team now. Starfire, and now with her sister coming in, Blackfire, and Beast Boy, and just so many characters that you have so many things to follow up on. And of course, there was such a considerable time jump between season 2 and 3 that you have to at least explore what's been going on behind the scenes when we were last on the air. There's a lot they had to do, but unlike the last seasons where they like, let's do everything in every episode just so that we have everyone still working every week, they didn't do that. There was like episode where we just focused on this one thing, and that episode was either way better or sadly just fell flat, but it still like was so much easier to digest because you didn't have to continue jumping back and forth between different characters and different storylines. It's like, oh, what were they doing, or what were this doing? Like, you get either a very huge chunk of the story so that you could just follow through and watch it, and then you have an understanding like where they would appear next. And sad to say, the show does return to some of those roots late in a few episodes, mostly towards the finale, which I'm not surprised since like when it comes to finale mode, you got to really like everyone's there here, everyone's firing on all cylinders, that sort of thing. And going back to Gotham was interesting because at the end of the day, this is still like the Nightwing show. Like, this is still Dick Grayson's show because again, with every team ensemble, with every team show, there's always that one character that kind of like is like the de facto main character, and we're kind of following their story mostly. This is still Dick's show, so it's not surprising we eventually head back over to Gotham, and honestly, their version of Gotham this season was interesting. It's the Gotham you expect. And normally when it comes to locales, especially in these certain shows, like they always say like, oh, the location itself is a character. And as much as I'm going to get criticism for this one, I still think the Gotham from the Gotham series is still the most, one of the definitive Gotham from TV. Yes, better than Batwoman, better than any other shows. Yeah, take that with criticism. And I enjoyed that Gotham better than, this Gotham. And we don't really get to spend much time in this Gotham. Like, we understand what the character's supposed to bring, but we don't really get to see as much. And just because we go to Gotham doesn't mean, do we get tons of Batman villains? I won't say I won't say anything, but Scarecrow is one of the main villains this season. And I will say that I was very okay with this Scarecrow. I was very okay with it in terms of like just a big villain. I won't spoil again much about what his motivations are, what his character is. Just overall, how did he do? I think it was fine. I still think Deathstroke was the superior villain at the end of the day because I love Deathstroke a lot, and I really wish he would have gotten that fucking standalone movie with Joe Manganiello. I wish we got in that movie, but we never did. And also I enjoy Manu Bennett's version from Arrow, so I'm just a sucker for Deathstroke and any sort of media. But I think Scarecrow was a fine villain. Like most villains in like these superhero shows, don't expect much from them. I'll say that much. The trend still continues that most of the focus is on the characters, and like they're still not 100% what they want to do with the villains. I will say they do give the villains a fair shake. It's just I never fully got sold and like really entangled to what they were trying to do. They tried. I'm not saying they didn't try. They tried, but it just didn't work for me. At least it just didn't. As for the other characters, from what I can talk about, it is that mostly this theme for Dick is about, what is, like every season has mostly been like the mantle and the legacy. With season 1, it was like him leaving Robin behind to go do something new. In season 2, he was beyond Robin, but he wasn't quite there to where he needs to be because he has so much package from when he was Robin to untangle. This season definitely is him being the Nightwing and finally embracing that, like, he's not Robin anymore. He is something else. But then also, like, do you jump to the next step? Like, can you be a Batman, like a real big hero? Because like there's a lot. Like, obviously this follows the Red Hood storyline for a bit. So Jason Todd does get killed by the Joker, and I was very poignant on this in the first impressions. I was very disappointed that the Joker had little to no role in this besides actually killing Jason Todd, and then obviously Jason Todd comes back from the dead very quickly. I understood they needed to rush that so they can use the Red Hood character. And I will admit, to finally get to see a live action take on that iconic scene from the comics was satisfying finally, because we never got in the Snyderverse or anywhere else so far. Maybe one day with another in another film franchise or another TV series. But I'm aware that the Joker character and obviously the Batman suit were sadly still locked away for the movies, so we only got to see the laugh and like the figment of the Joker, but we never really got to see more than that. And I was really bummed out by that. I really was. It still sucks that even though we are embracing this DC multiverse with both the movies and the shows, that we still can't have multiple Jokers on screen. It does suck. It really does suck. Those two characters are locked behind movies forever. But regardless, to say the least, I personally thought that it was fine. I'm not gonna like really put the show down this season because of it, because I don't know how you would have included the Joker. Joker would not have been a great fit for this season. It just would have been like for fan service, and I'm very thankful. Superboy, I'm just jumping between characters right now, so I'm really because I'm just remember who exactly was in the pair. It was just Superboy, Nightwing, Starfire, and Beast Boy, and they were kind of like the core cast. Also, sad to say, Crypto wasn't in that much of this season. Sadly, he was, but they gave him a better CG. But like, I miss him. I miss that little pup. I will say they obviously did more with Superboy this season, expanding his trope. I don't think he's at Young Justice levels yet in terms of like really being of importance. He's there, he's doing something, but he's not quite there yet. And I know it's like he's paying his dues because like, he's still like a fresh member of the Titans. So, and I know by this point in the timeline he's kind of been an established member, but for us we've only seen him a handful of times in season 2, and then this is kind of his first starring season from start to finish. We definitely do get to see more of him, but I still would like more of a kick like they did with Young Justice. And I know I shouldn't be comparing two separate entities of the Teen Titans, but I'm still allowed to like say like I want to see more of that character, hopefully in season 4. Starfire and her relationship with her sister was interesting this season. Like the traditional sibling rivalry, that there was a lot of more thing. Definitely, it wasn't as fierce and malicious as it was in Teen Titans, the original show. I will say they did that like fair. They did that right. I think I'm a little bit confused on the Starfire stuff since I haven't watched season 2 in a good bit. Because more especially like there was like a guy she was with in season 2, like not Dick Grayson, but are they still together? And you know she's there with him for more support because she's still trying to figure out this whole like Tamarini living on Earth thing, and having her sister involved does kind of like bring up some old things from her past, and then also going into now. Starfire does definitely get the most, not the most. She definitely does get a good amount of chunk of development this season, and I did like that. Suits, I think that like right now we're getting to that perfect like combo with the hair and the suit and the overall look. I still think season 2 was the best with the hair, and I do like her hairstyle this season. But like, I hope in season 4 it's like the culmination of all three of them, of all three of those designs, and to hope to get the one standout, unique one. I really want that. And Beast Boy's cool. I still think Beast Boy hasn't gotten his fair shake yet. I will say that. I'm still waiting for more on him, and there's a lot for Beast Boy to do this season, but if you're expecting like him to like fully be from the comics, temper your expectations. That's all I'll say on that. And overall, the overall story, like going back to Gotham, and then obviously meeting Barbara Gordon again, like their take on Barbara Gordon was all very interesting. I liked the direction, the route they took this season. It felt like it was the next logical step for the Titans, since they were beginning as a team at this point in the story to kind of be this like, we're becoming well-known like heroes as a team, and we're kind of gaining a presence there. But there's still so much baggage from Gotham when Dick was there, and then obviously with Jason being there still, they're kind of like, this makes sense to where we need to go next. It makes sense. And I don't mind, like, yeah, they were like really using like all the Batman elements so hard this season. I'm fine with that. They didn't really harp too much on that, and they still told their story. So that's what I was constantly impressed about throughout the whole season, that they temper themselves. As for Bruce Wayne himself, obviously he's in the show, he's in the season. I won't say much, but I'm still not very sold on the aspect of this actor playing Bruce Wayne. Like, I think he's fine. I think he's okay. It sucks he'll never get to wear the cowl, sadly, and also it's so weird to imagine him in the cowl, like just imagining like his face covered in it. It's so hard to see that, because it just is. And as much as I would like to see it, I don't think we ever will. It's something that is going to be locked behind forever. But I think his Bruce Wayne is very different and what he needs to be for the story. I think that's all I'll say on that front. But what else can I say spoiler free live? Because we're about to head into a spoiler minute where it's like for 1 minute I will spoil whatever I want, and then you have to skip an entire minute ahead so that you don't get spoiled. So I think I'm gonna start that minute up right now. So okay, ready? 3, 2, 1. I'm gonna say this flat out right now. The Tamarine episode was pretty cool. Just to get a fully focused Raven episode and Donna Troy episode was cool. The way they did the Hawk and Dove this season was like very. I felt so bad because like they're such a tragic couple and they killed off Hawk and I'm like, why? Why'd you kill off Hawk? Why? I love that guy and he's gonna be on a TV show, which is like great for him. But I'm like, fuck, I'm gonna miss that dude. I'm really gonna miss him. But also I'm gonna say that like. As much as I'm gonna miss Hawk, like the way they used him to like really sell what Red Hood was about and just this unhinged character was like that sold me so hard at the end of episode 3, and then sadly when we had to reverse back to Jason, like just being like Jason, like just like all over the place, I'm like, damn it, no, we were so close. I didn't understand Scarecrow's motivations at the end. I did him scarring up his face, trying to like to just prove to himself like I am a villain. I am Jonathan Crane is a deranged lunatic. I don't get it. I really don't. I don't know what they were trying to sell for that. And him being taken down so easily at the end, which was like, okay, that makes sense. He was never a physically imposing villain, and like literally, I would have. Arkham Asylum spoiled me on Scarecrow, and Arkham Knight too. So I'm like, I wish they would have went with that interpretation or something similar, but we didn't. So I was very bummed out by that. And last but not least, so that wraps up the spoiler minute. So overall, just flat out, I'm making sure we're recording. What was my overall? Do I recommend Titan Season 3? Do I say it's worth the binge? Do I say it's worth it? I think it is. I think it's still the best of the 3 seasons, so it will be a much more enjoyable experience than the last 2 seasons if those were a chore for you. It's still not a perfect show. The outfits are still top tier, top game. The Red Hood outfit, beautiful. I will say that much. And just seeing all the characters suited, I was like, this is by far the most closest thing on television you will get to movie quality costume. That is just a high praise. I still have to give it 3 seasons in, and whatever more they're going to do in season 4, I can't wait to see what else they have in store for them, and I really can't wait. And yeah, so for me, I would recommend it. Temper your expectations, but you're going to enjoy this much more than season 1 and 2. It is still, for now, the best of the 3 seasons, so I would recommend it. Will it be worth the binge? Just to get it over with, yeah, binge it, just get it over with. But if you're willing to like get through the second half slog a little bit, then I would say take your time on it. I wouldn't say rush into it after that point if you're not willing to like fully binge it. So yeah, let me know in the comments below, what did you think of this season of Titans? I would love to talk to you down below because none of my friends watched it so far. And also, you can catch all the episodes of Titans Season 3, as well as the entirety of Titans, all on HBO Max. So stay out. I'm not sponsored by them, but they're pretty good. Pretty cool service for DC shows. Very still weird on their DC TV schedule because like they did a month of Titans. They were still airing, but they started Doom Patrol, and then for like a brief 1 week, they had like all 3 of their DC shows, Titans, Doom Patrol, and Young Justice back on the air. Which I'm like, really? You really want to blow your load already? Like you're basically that's your entire content. Like you could have literally kept that going until season 4, but okay, whatever you want to do. But yeah, I really I like HBO Max, so I still recommend that. But I think that's going to do it for me today, everyone. So if you're unaware, this has been What's the 2 from ActionX, reviewing the entirety of Titan Season 3, spoiler-free. If you want to see more of us reviewing Titans, we have Season 1 and Season 2 reviews already up on the channel, so it's a full trifecta. We will try again with Season 4 for a run-through, but we'll see how that goes next year. But I'm very excited that it will come back, and there's a rumor it will be a 5th season as well, but we'll see how that goes. And yeah, but also on What's the 2, we also are reviewing week by week Nancy Drew Season 3, Doom Patrol Season 3, Walker Season 2, Stargirl Season 2, and Rookie Season 4. So if you're curious about any of the shows I listed, please go check them out. We have a ton of episodes of What's in the Tube already on the channel. So if you like me talking about Titans and you want to hear more of my beautiful voice, go check it out there. But otherwise, if you're just a Titans fan, you have all that to enjoy. And I'll see you all again for Season 4 down the road. I think we're going to do something interesting next season when we do come back around to lead up to it. It's an idea. I'm going to talk to my usual co-host on that, but we'll have a talk about that soon. But again, if you're unaware, this has been What's the Two from ActionX talking about it. Please subscribe to us on youtube.com/ActionX videos to see more of us. Please also ring that bell for a notification when our next video is live. Like, favorite, share this review if you want to, but it helps us gets us out there to other members of the Titans fam who might like us. And yeah, follow us on social media to stay up to date with any sort of updates for the channel. But until then, thank you so much for watching. Stay safe out there, be good to each other, and as always, peace out.